compete with Intel, and a maker of graphics chips that lagged forever behind NVIDIA, the red-hot chip maker that was the best performing stock in the S&P last year. I used to think that maybe Intel kept these guys alive to avoid monopoly prosecution by the Justice Department. However, after years of seeing its stock bounce around the low single digits, AMD started 2016 trading at just $2.87. The darn thing managed to come roaring back, with the stock trading up to $11.34 by the end of last year. Do you know that's a remarkable 295% gain?
House of pleasure.
And since then, it just kept on running, climbing to $13.64 as of today, in part because the company reported an amazing quarter last Tuesday. And then today it got boosted by a super positive piece in Barron's over the weekend, one that sent the stock up another 11% in this session. So how the heck was AMD able to pull off such a remarkable comeback? This is an incredible story, people. First of all, you have to understand that a big reason that AMD stock has rallied so hard over the past year is because it spent roughly 18 months getting obliterated, falling from $4.80 in the summer of 2014 down to $2.87 at the end of 2015. The reason for the decline? The company was struggling desperately to find revenue growth because back then the vast majority of its chips were linked to the personal computer, either processors or graphics cards. And both these businesses were getting crushed by competition, left for dead. The margins were hideous too. The balance sheet was awful. But then we got 2016's miraculous comeback. Much like Tom Brady in the second half of the game, AMD stopped throwing interceptions, started playing like what we know, best of the business. The real driver here, the chip maker pivoted away from PCs and into some new, much faster growing areas, data centers, virtual reality, while at the same time becoming a lot more competitive with NVIDIA in the gaming space. Altogether, these three areas represent a $53 billion total addressable market, or TAM. In gaming, AMD had long been lagging behind longtime Cramer fave NVIDIA, the best in the industry. But when it comes to these video games, graphics chips, AMD and NVIDIA are the only two players of any real scale. And with recent rollout of AMD's newest Radeon line of graphics chips, the company's gaming business has really started to pick up speed. How about the data center? Here AMD's got this Zen line of server processors, and they're starting to give Intel a run for its money. Finally, there's the rapidly expanding virtual reality space, where the company's now a supplier to Facebook's Oculus. Hey, that's one of the fastest growing VR platforms out there. What a win. So put it all together, and AMD has really been able to turn around its numbers, going from double-digit sales declines in 2015 and early 2016 to double-digit increases in the last 2 quarters. This is why I said Micron, the commodity chip maker, should try to acquire AMD a month and a half ago in order to get more fast-growing proprietary exposure now that the balance sheet was all fixed by AMD. I think it would still make sense, but you know what? That's not what we're talking about today. Now, why? Because after this quarter that the company reported last week, I actually care less about Micron buying AMD and more about you buying it. Granted, I've been recommending this one for 7 months now, to the point where you've got nearly a triple if you've listened to me. But I feel like it's got more room to run after it cools down a little bit. Let me tell you why. First of all, last Tuesday night after the close, AMD blew away the numbers and reported a quarter that was as miraculous as the Patriots' late-game comeback last night, only without any of the half-serious Deflategate jokes. Going into the quarter, AMD's stock was actually down 8% for 2017, in part because we'd gotten some weaker than expected personal computer numbers, but also because the darn thing had run so much that it was due for some profit taking. Hey, listen, NVIDIA had the same thing. Take a look at the course of NVIDIA running into at the end of the year and then coming back down. Now, when we saw AMD's results, anyone who dumped the stock last month, well, they must have experienced an acute case of seller's remorse. Not only did the company post a smaller than expected loss, with earnings down by a penny instead of a 2-cent loss Wall Street was looking for, but more important, its revenues came in substantially higher than anticipated, up 15.4% year over year. Even better, AMD's gross margin increased by 220 basis points versus last year, rising to 31.7%. Hey, getting there. I mean, Intel's got much higher, but still getting there. And perhaps most stunning of all, the company's cash flow from operations more than doubled, climbing to $188 million, up from only $90 million the year before. Oh, and shocker, AMD now has a decent balance sheet. For a long time, this company was hobbled by debt, but in the last year, AMD's net debt has shrunk from $1.45 billion down to just $171 million because of some refinancings. Plus, management's guidance for the next quarter was a heck of a lot higher than the analysts were looking for. If they can deliver at the midpoint of their forecast, then we could be looking at an 18% sales gain. This is an unbelievable situation. It's almost like we're talking about an entirely different company. AMD's computer and graphics business was on fire, up 28% year over year, thanks to stronger sales of both processors and graphics chips. Meanwhile, their enterprise embedded and semi-custom semiconductors saw its sales increase by 4% versus last year, although that number should accelerate in the not-too-distant future, as AMD is now spending a lot more money on research and development in order to create new products that can seize more market share. Oh, and management's commentary in the conference call, incredibly bullish. Here's a snippet from Lisa Su, the fabulous CEO who has masterminded this turnaround. She said, and I quote, "All of our work the past 2 years has been designed to strengthen the technical, operational, and financial foundation of the company. We entered 2017 with strong revenue growth and margin expansion opportunities as we prepare to launch our Zen-based CPUs and Vega GPUs that can return AMD to the high-performance markets where we have not materially participated in recent years," end quote. In other words, things are only going to get better going forward, both in terms of sales growth and in terms of margin expansion, thanks to high-end new processors and graphics chips that the company's rolling out very soon. In short, not only is AMD amazing, this rally, amazing as it is, justified, but it also seems like it should be sustainable, given all the new chips the company is launching in the first half of this year. Plus, we've seen how the processing power from NVIDIA's graphics chips has become an essential component for machine learning and applications, and I think AMD is now doing the same thing. My one concern is that the stock has soared into the stratosphere today, climbing more than 11% off of an extremely positive story in Barron's. It was titled, "This Time AMD's Revival is for Real," and then the subtitle, "AMD's Sweeping Changes Could Elevate It in Cloud Computing, Shares Could Double in a Year," end quote. All right, I agree with that analysis, but I hate to chase stocks. I mean, I really do think it could go up a lot, but it's not my style to come in above an 11% gain. So let me give you my bottom line here. Thanks to the leadership of Lisa Su, AMD has pulled off an astonishing turnaround. I think the comeback is far from over as the company expands into new end markets and puts up a better fight versus Intel and NVIDIA. But given the stock's spectacular run, I think you have to wait for a pullback before you do any buying. And considering that it sold off early this year for no particular reason, I'm betting you'll get a better chance to buy the stock of AMD. Tom in Virginia. Tom!
Hey, Cramer.
Yo.
I remember watching my dad when I was younger, and I'll admit it was torture, but now I'm an avid follower. I love the show, man.
Ah, fabulous. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Calling about